when I was in high school in New York, when we got back to New York, I was 15, 16, and I still had what they call PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what the hell. I never even heard that expression until decades later.
Yeah.
But what I had was I wasn't undernourished anymore, but I was always skinny, and I was already trying to defend myself. So I was always doing push-ups and pull-ups and stuff like that, just to not take any shit.
And
basically,
John, I'm sorry to interrupt again, but Austin over there, he says that he has PTSD because I told him my dad voted for George W. Bush.
Yeah, and that gave him PTSD. That's
Yeah.
difference in the generations.
Uh-huh,
that
Leo,
right?
exactly.
The difference in the generations.
Yeah, they're so left-wing, John. I can't emphasize it enough.
But so
Yeah,
so
well-
did you get in some fights in New York when you were a kid?
I've only had 3 or 4 fights in my whole life.
Uh-huh.
And they were all when I had one in New York. I told you we were always living in rooming houses and everything on the west side of Manhattan. Do you know that area at all? Between
Yes.
72nd and 96th Street.
We know it now. What is it like? What was it like
in
back
those
then?
days? Well, there was a pool room on 96th and Broadway, a bowling alley, and a ping pong place downstairs.
Sounds good.
And we used to hang out between 72nd Street and 96th Street on the west side. So the west side, in the little rooming houses, they all used to be brownstones, I guess, at one time. You've seen them in movies, if not in person. The rooming houses were all people that were just like the refugees, my parents and others like them, refugees. They would just rent rooms, like for $8 a week or $9 a week, whatever, whatever it was at the time. And West End Avenue and Riverside Drive and Central Park West was where the well-to-do lived, and it was mainly upper middle-class Jews. And they either worked in the parents, and I used to know a lot of those kids, and they either worked in the garment district or they were like mafia, Jewish mafia.
Oh wow.
Guys that were bookies and
Nice.
got involved in prostitution or this
Wow.
kind of shit, And
Who was the most famous Jewish gangster of the time? Was it
Meyer Lansky.
Right, Lansky. I was going to say Lansky.
Yeah, he was with the mafia. But the mafia, as we saw in The Godfather and any other movies about mafia, it was Italians, but they were always Jewish guys.
Oh yeah, they
because
helped
it's
a
like
lot.
the
yeah.
underclass,
Right.
This is before they became lawyers and moved to L.A.
Yeah,
Right.
What is it about that? Do you have
Right.
any insight into this, John? I know that wave of Jewish immigrants that came over from Europe, they congregated in New York on the East Coast. A lot of them worked in garment factories.
That's right.
But the next generation were all tremendously successful.
Yep, that's right.
Those were the doctors, the lawyers,
Yep.
the elites.
That's right.
What do you think that is about Jewish culture that just creates these ultra-successful children?
Yeah. Well, it's almost part of the whole culture of just as you described it, of the Jewish culture, of the people that came over. The grandparents came out of the ghettos in Poland or Russia or, Lithuania or places like that. Then they came across and then the next generation was already, more successful, and they all striving to be successful.
Right. They were like with the
And
parents.
it was like
you
we
gotta
want to
be a
be
doctor.
part of it. We don't want to be, we don't, but striving to be successful. And I've met a lot of Jews here. I've been here 25 years in L.A., and I've met a lot of people, and this is past my business life, because I always worked, and I'll tell you about that. I ended up working in the advertising agency business, like Mad Men.
Like wow.
I worked for
Man.
Young and Rubicam, one of
Wow.
the top 3
It's
agencies
my favorite
in the
show
world.
ever.
And
Wow.
But I'll
Don
get
Draper
to that
right in front of me.
in a little bit.
This is Don Draper in the flesh, guys.
But yeah, the Jews, they all did that, But it's so interesting because I've met people here, Jewish people that were either lawyers or successful, and they all spoke. They spoke Yiddish because that's how they grew up, and I just felt I was like from another race,
Yeah.
from another, because we never spoke Yiddish,
Right. Right.
We're Germans. We're German Jews. We don't speak Yiddish. You know, not a put down of people that speak Yiddish,
Right.
but it was like considered no. And there's a lot of sentimental aspects that go to that, because you'll meet somebody here and they change their names, of course, you know.
Yeah.
So it's you know, Henry Green, and it used to be Greenblatt, you know, whatever. And when they're with other Jews, they'll get into a little bit of Yiddish or this or that or whatever.
It's sort of like King Croc when he hangs out with other black dudes. He starts speaking Ebonics.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, turn it on.
Which
Here,
is
let talk to me in Ebonics.
I think
Croc.
talk to John. In Ebonics.
John, talk to John in Ebonics. Go ahead.
What's good, nigga? How you doing?
I'm doing good, Nick.
Nah, he didn't say it.
And also, he lived through the Holocaust, so he's got a pass.
He's got a pass. Yeah.